So, welcome to Introduction to Alternative Medicine. I am so happy you guys have chosen to pursue your studies at HPOC University. I am Dr. Karen Ray, and I am going to be your instructor for this course. I am the founder of HPOC, and so I do teach a couple of the courses, and I am excited to do so. So, let's just talk about what alternative medicine is. So, in this short lecture, we're going to talk about the historical context of alternative medicine, principles and philosophies, and the modern relevance and application. So, what is alternative medicine? Let me get some water. So, alternative medicine or holistic medicine is very distinct from conventional or Western medicine. So, you need to know that when you practice natural medicine, you are not a medical doctor and you can never ever present yourself as such. You're going to learn more about this throughout the course, but we are very different from medical doctors. We don't want to be medical doctors. We approach healing from a holistic perspective. We are healers and we give reverence to all things natural, all things divinely created by the Most High, by whatever your higher power is, right? So it's very different. And we don't treat just the symptoms, we treat the cause. We address the cause, okay? Alternative medicine is often derived from traditional practices, and in the purposes of HPOC, always derived from traditional practices. And we emphasize holistic, individualized care. The first thing I need you to get away from is the one size fits all cookie cutter approach to healing, because that is what is so prevalent right now, right? So one thing, case in point, is people often call me and say, "Hey, I have this problem. What should I take?" And I say, I don't know. How would I know? Now listen, there are some general things, some general guidelines that one could follow. But if we just address the symptom, then we're doing no different than medical doctors, right? Because the cause for person A's symptoms will be different than the cause of person B's symptoms. And so when you treat the cause, it could be varied, right? So I need to do a holistic analysis and holistic exam on you to determine what needs to be addressed. And it speaks to why somebody will say, "Oh, I heard that hawthorn berry is good for my heart. I took it for a whole year, nothing happened." Well, yeah, because the cause of your heart problems might not be the heart, it might be the blood, it might be the liver not breaking down the hormones properly. There could be a lot of reasons that you haven't addressed, and that's why you still have the heart problems. So, I get on my soapboxes, so y'all just get ready for that while y'all with me at HPOC. So our emphasis is on holistic, individualized care. Okay, what's next? Okay, so historical context and origins. So most of our information here at HPOC comes from ancient Egyptian civilizations. Okay, we do also work with the seven African powers, the entire continent, and the historical practices that were given us from our ancestors from the continent are included, but largely because a lot of it happened in ancient Egypt and in Nubia. Then most of the ancient information that we get will come from there. Um, there are medical texts that date back way before Greece. Now they're going to tell you that Hippocrates is the father of medicine. Hippocrates sat at the feet of Imhotep. Imhotep was an ancient Cometian. That's the original name for Egypt. He was an ancient Egyptian or Cometian who was the original father of medicine. And in your spare time or while you're on this journey, research Imhotep. He's the original father of medicine. You can research some of the medical texts like the Ebers Papyrus that have listed thousands of holistic and alternative remedies that predate Greek and Greece and modern medicine as we know it. Just check that out. But then we have the traditional Chinese medicine practitioners who also sat at the feet of ancient societies like Egypt and took some of our information and did a pretty good job of translating it and keeping it as authentic as possible. And then also expanding on it a little bit. So listen, I'm not above giving credit to where credit's due. Traditional Chinese medicine has taken some information from ancient Egypt and expounded on it. But the large bulk of it, the majority of it, comes from our ancestors in ancient Africa. And then we also have Native Americans who did a wonderful job of living off the land, connecting spirit to body for their healing purposes, just like some of the African tribal healing conditions have done. So we pay homage to all of those here at HPOC. But understand, we are people of color. And because these people listed are also people of color, we shout them out and we pull from their information. But we are a proud African people. And at HPOC, the majority of our healing modalities will be referenced to the motherland. So the evolution of over time. Over time, a lot of our healing practices have been preserved, right? You can go look at Big Mama on the slave plantations. She kept those healing practices in place. She healed entire plantations with holistic and alternative medicine that she knew that resided in her ancestral DNA from the motherland. And that same ancestral memory lives in each and every one of us. And this is why people of color should be the practitioners of alternative medicine, because they have colonized this information just like they've colonized everything else. But they can never master it or internalize it the way we do, because it lies in our ancestral DNA, because our mothers did it, our grandmothers did it, our great-grandmothers did it. Even though during United States slavery, they did outlaw and ban a lot of our healing practices. And they did a damn good job of making people believe that it was wicked and it was demonic, right? So they made voodoo and hoodoo, all that, to seem like it was bad. Those things are not bad. Now, listen, I know some of y'all in this class, this might be new information for you, but you need to understand that the colonizers did a damn good job of making us believe that everything that we practiced naturally was bad, was demonic, was evil, was wicked. It was not. And none of it contradicts anything you practice today. If you're a Christian, it doesn't contradict that. If you're a Muslim, it doesn't contradict that, right? We have to begin to learn and see for ourselves, study for ourselves, and research for ourselves, and put our hands on text that were written for us and by us, so that we can understand the brainwashing job they've done on us. So anyway, we have done a really good job of preserving our spiritual practices. It's just been hard to find. But you're at HPOC now, so you're on the right track. We are going to help you put your hands on the right text, okay? And then they talk about the incorporation of spiritual and metaphysical concepts, which is not new. It hasn't evolved over time. That is a mainstay in ancient healing practices. It always included spiritual and metaphysical concepts, always. But they're going to tell you that it's new, that we're just now incorporating these concepts. Nope, check them real quick. Holistic healing and alternative medicine from an African standpoint has always, in fact, the foundation of it is spiritual metaphysical concepts. Okay. And then there are also the development of new modalities based on the older traditions. Like I said, the Chinese did a good job of doing that. And then we have some practitioners here that have done a really good job of tapping into that ancestral memory and ancestral DNA and recreating the modalities that were given us by our ancestors that may have been eradicated or kind of lost in translation. Okay. So the philosophy of alternative medicine is holism. We treat the whole person, mind, body, soul, spirit, right? Because they're all interconnected. And if there is a problem in one area of our person, there is a problem in all areas of our person. So if you have a physical problem, it's going to manifest emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You're going to be out of whack. If you have a spiritual problem, it's going to manifest physically. So don't think that just because you have a headache, it's because you hit your head against the wall. We all know that's not the truth. a thought, an emotion, your environment, spiritually, something else caused that headache, that physical manifestation to present itself. And so you're going to learn about that during our time together. And we also need to make sure that when we're working with our clients, we understand that there's an interconnectedness of body systems. Make sure your clients understand that. And this is, you're going to have to be patient with them because, this is new information for you sometimes, for some of us, and it's definitely new information for many of our clients. But the concept of one area of our person affecting another area of our person is new information for a lot of us. So show grace. I'm sorry. I know I talk really, really, really fast. I will slow down. So what we know, what our ancestors have always known, is the healing power of nature, and that the body has an inherent ability to heal itself. The body will always heal itself if you create the conditions for it to do so. Okay. Alternative medicine, holistic medicine, spiritual medicine aids and supports this natural process. It's not the medicine that heals it. It is the support it provides that heals it. Okay. And again, we treat the cause, not the symptoms. So we have to, as holistic practitioners, dive deeper into the underlying causes of the imbalances. And we have to look beyond the immediate ailment in order to get to the root cause. And I kind of talked about that already. Patient as partner, this is a new concept with integrative medicine. Again, at HPOC or for any holistic practitioner, we don't call our clients patients, we call them clients. And they have an active role in their healing process. We don't heal people, right? The client heals themselves. We create the environment and the information and the education and the resources for the client to heal themselves, right? So our emphasis is on education, self-awareness, and empowerment. You're going to have the knowledge about which plant has which healing properties. You're going to have the knowledge about which supplementation will help build the immune system, right? You're going to have the information and the knowledge about the healing process of the body. And you're going to pass that information on to your clients so they can heal themselves. Because listen, we know about the health disparities in the United States, and we know it is problematic. And we know that we can take healing into our own hands. And that is why at HPOC, we have the tagline that we heal ourselves and we heal our communities. So we talk about prevention over cure. It's always better, guys. It's always better to just live a healthy lifestyle, right? That means you can cheat sometimes. You might sneak a piece of fried chicken every now and then. You can do those things because you don't have a chronic health condition and your body's in a better state to heal itself if it's just a small infraction. But the majority of your clients are going to come to you because they already have a chronic condition. There's something pressing and they want you to fix it right away. Just like it takes time to cause disease and illnesses in the body, it's going to take time to restore health. And so the lifestyle changes, the diet changes, the mind-body medicine is going to take time, but it will slowly reverse it for good. Versus, you have fibroids and you have your entire reproductive system removed. Does that really help it? No, because fibroids usually come back in a different area, right? So we haven't addressed the problem. So again, I mentioned that there is complementary and alternative medicine that are being offered, in hospitals and clinics. They are trying because they see that it's out of their hands. They know that we are not playing anymore and that we are demanding holistic and alternative care. And so now they're trying to integrate some of our healing modalities into mainstream. The problem with that is that they want to do it their way. They want to do it the way the colonizers do it. So if you get any type of licenses, right, that's the key word. If it's a license, that means it's regulated by the medical industry, some shape or form. It's probably devoid of in-depth information. Just putting that out there. So there are now some scientific studies that back the efficacy of acupuncture, meditation, herbal treatments. I mean, like I said, they are on the bandwagon. And so now they want to scientifically back it up, their scientific backing. But we have our own scientific backing that we've had for thousands of years. And so we rely on the art and the science that our ancestors gave us. But it's good to know, it's kind of good to know that they're starting to incorporate it. But you need to understand that even with the herbal treatments that they're putting out on Google and the natural medicines they're putting out on Google, the internet, that we are not the standard. Black people, people of color, are never the standard. They've taken a white person, usually a white male, and tried research out on him without taking into account that we are different. People of color are biologically and physiologically different. That is a fact. It is not racism. It is a fact. And so when you take that into consideration, the research that they've done and the scientific data they've compiled doesn't apply to us. So when you have a client that comes to you and says, I saw on Google that we're supposed to be doing this, okay, go ahead and do that, boo. Go ahead. But that's not for you. It's not for you. What you need to do is talk to somebody like you, the students who will soon be certified and have degrees and have a very tailored skill, a specific skill to work with the unique differences of people of color to provide that information for them. Okay. So there is a rise of personalized medicine because they're now recognizing the uniqueness of each individual, and they're now trying to create customized treatment plans, right? But it's still kind of cookie cutter. They don't go into it as deeply as we do because they have not yet found value to the whole person. So the current challenges are there are some skepticism, there are some regulatory concerns, and there's the need for further research according to them. We have all the research that we need. And as far as regulation, it's really hard to treat someone holistically and there be a safety concern. Now you're going to learn about efficacy and safety rules for herbs and all that and how it might interact with medications. And you need to know it because there are some, but generally speaking, it's a pretty safe industry if you operate within very specific guidelines that you are going to learn about as you move through your course. So there is a future of alternative medicine. I'm happy to say that HPOC is quickly becoming the voice of authority when it comes to holistic medicine and the BIPOC community. So you're here at a good time. You're here at a good time. Just know that there's a future in alternative medicine. There's a future in holistic medicine. We are currently fighting for legislation that respects and honors and validates. I use that very lightly because we validate our own stuff. But we are fighting for legislation because we don't want to be penalized for doing the things our ancestors did to us, that as our natural birthright, right? There should be no penalty for that. So we are fighting for legislation. But when you finish this degree program, you will be able to use it and you will be able to practice holistic medicine wherever you live. Oh, that's the same one. So let's jump right into the first assignment.